Hello and welcome to World Watch on Oweleketv. I am Antonia Nwokolo. 3 black men have filed a racial discrimination lawsuit against American Airlines, alleging that the carrier briefly removed them from a flight after a complaint about body odor. The men, who were not seated together and did not know each other, said that every black man was removed from the 5th January flight from Phoenix, Arizona to New York. The Texas-based airline said it was investigating the matter as the allegations did not align with its values. According to a federal lawsuit filed by consumer advocacy group Public Citizen, the men had already taken their seats and were preparing to depart Phoenix when a flight attendant approached each of them and asked them to exit the plane. Alvin Jackson, Emmanuel Jean Joseph, and Xavier Ville alleged that as they were leaving, they realized that every black man on the flight was being removed. Each of the men had flown from Los Angeles earlier that day with no issue. At the flight gate, the 3 men, along with 5 others, were told by an airline agent that they had been removed because a white male flight attendant had complained about an unidentified passenger's body odor. The attorneys general of more than a dozen states urged the U.S. Justice Department on Wednesday to open a federal criminal civil rights probe into the shooting and death of a Black Lives Matter protester whose killer was pardoned 2 weeks ago by Texas Governor Greg Abbott. In their letter calling for an investigation, the attorneys general, all of them Democrats, challenged the property of Texas Stand Your Ground law cited by Abbott, a Republican, as the basis for his act of clemency. Abbott granted a full pardon on May 16 to Daniel Perry, a former U.S. Army sergeant and Uber driver who was convicted last year of murder and sentenced to 25 years in prison for fatally shooting Garrett Foster, a U.S. Air Force veteran, in July 2020. Foster, 28 years old, was taking part in the Black Lives Matter rally in Austin, the state capital, and was legally carrying an AK-47 rifle when Perry, armed with a pistol, turned his car onto a street where the demonstrators were marching. The first results have been announced from what is seen as South Africa's most closely fought elections since the African National Congress came to power 30 years ago. With results from just over 11% voting districts counted so far, the ANC is leading with 43%, followed by the DA with 26%. The Radical EFF and the MK party of former President Jacob Zuma are on around 8%. Opinion polls suggest the ANC could lose its majority in parliament for the first time in 30 years, forcing it into a coalition. Iran started on Thursday registration of candidates for an early election next month following the death of President Ibrahim Raisi in a helicopter crash. Once seen as a possible successor to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's aging ultimate decision maker, Raisi's sudden death has triggered a race among hardliners to influence the selection of Iran's next leader. The Iranian Interior Minister Ahmad Vahidi said after the 5-day registration period, the Guardian Council, which oversees elections and legislation, will vet the candidates running for presidency. He further said the vetting process will be 7 days, and then qualified candidates will have almost 2 weeks for the election campaign, and the Guardian Council will publish the list of qualified candidates on June 11th. And that's all we have for you on World Watch. I am Antonia Nwokolo.